It is 7 o'clock, Mayor, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you so much. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees for the Village of Woodridge for Thursday, March 4th. Excuse me, I'm sorry. March 4th, 2021. We call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. and we ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Hendricks.
Present.
Trustee Blair.
Present.
Trustee Martinez.
Present.
Trustee Abbott.
Present.
Trustee Krusek.
Present.
Trustee Page.
Present.
Madam Mayor,
Present.
we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This evening, if you would please join us in a moment of silence and in dedicating our meeting this evening in honor of all of our Woodridge Scouts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We have an outstanding, excellent, and longstanding scouting tradition in Woodridge. We're very thankful and proud of all of our scouts. And we are being joined this evening by St. Scholastica Boy Scout Troop 109. We welcome them and all the scouts who are joining us. And I know that St. Scholastica Troop 109 is working on their citizenship in the community badge. We wish you all the very best. Please give your families our best and everyone in scouting that you know. We are so proud and just know how proud Woodridge and our entire community is of you all. If you would please, after we take a moment of silence, if our scouts would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
I pledge allegiance
To
to the flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America
and to the republic for which it
For which it stands, one nation,
one nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
for
for
all. Thank you very much, everyone. We're going to move to comments from the public. So we will now pause to acknowledge any written public comments that have been received prior to the meeting that do not relate to tonight's agenda. And we will enter those into the public record, please.
Good
And I
evening,
would-
Mayor.
Yes,
We
please.
have no written public comments.
Okay, thank you. And now I will ask if there's any members of the public present via Zoom who wish to make a comment on items not related to tonight's agenda.
Mayor, the scout troop had indicated that they would not be making any public comments and there's nobody else in attendance.
Thank you so much. We'll move right along then to providing members of our public an opportunity to provide their comments on items that do appear on this evening's board agenda.
Yes, Mayor, we have no written comments for items on the agenda tonight.
Thank you very much.
And similarly, Mayor, there's nobody in the waiting room or online attendance to make public comment related to the agenda items.
Thank you very much, Trevor. So we'll now go ahead and move to our omnibus agenda. Going to ask please to have a motion to approve items A and the acceptance of B and C, please.
So moved, Trustee Page.
Thank you, Trustee Page, and a second, please.
Second, Trustee Martinez.
Thank you, Trustee Martinez. Any item up for separate consideration? We'll go ahead and move right along then. I'm going to ask our administrator if you would please read the items that appear on the omnibus agenda for us this evening.
Mayor Cunningham, members of the board, good evening. Item A is ordinance 2021-3, just ordinance to approve and publish the official zoning map of the Village of Woodridge. And then item B is previous board minutes. And then the last item C are the accounts payable registers for February 12th and February 19th, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page, trustee Hendricks.
Aye.
Motion's approved.
Thank you very much, everyone. Under tonight's mayor's report, we do have a couple wonderful things to share that have been going on in our community. First, and you'll see hopefully some slides that come up here from our super polar plunge in Woodridge. And on February 26th of this year, police officer Dan McIntyre, our public works director, Chris Bethel, and his daughter Delaney led the charge for our 2021 Polar Plunge fundraising event for Special Olympics. Due to COVID, Special Olympics has seen a significant drop in fundraising for the over 23,000 Special Olympics athletes in Illinois. Many residents, our village and fire department employees, supported the group throughout the 24-hour event. Our dedicated, very dedicated group raised over $16,000 this year. We are so thankful for everyone who participated, who donated, and came out to support everyone going in the pool there on a brisk day. But it's always a wonderful event, and you know, it really truly is such a proud event for our community, and we thank everyone so much. Way to go, team. They did an outstanding job. I'd like to give them a round of applause because, wow, they're just great. Next, on February 28th, we had a vaccination event at Downers Grove South High School. So the Village of Woodridge co-sponsored a community vaccination event that was hosted by High School District 99. And as I said, it was at Downers Grove South High School. Through this outstanding intergovernmental partnership, the community event was so successful. I and others have just received numerous phone calls with deep appreciation and very, very thankful for the school district, the Village of Woodridge, the Village of Downers Grove, and the communities of Darien and Westmont coming together to host this event. And the Village of Woodridge staff and team played a key role in this event, helping to coordinate the pre-registration process last week that successfully collected over 1,200 senior registrants that were 65 years and older and wanted to receive a vaccine. Following the initial pre-qualification process, Woodridge staff helped register over 200 qualifying seniors for their vaccination appointments. Those were Woodridge neighbors. Woodridge staff also provided on-site operational support during the event, along with several Woodridge police officers who provided event security and traffic control. You can see by the numbers here, just representative of a shift coming in and seating, being seated, waiting. It was an incredible turnout. On behalf of the village board and myself in the Village of Woodridge, I want to be sure to extend our deep appreciation to School District 99 and Superintendent Hank Thiel and the School District 68 and Superintendent Pat Brancato for the tremendous intergovernmental cooperation and for their partnership in successfully vaccinating over 225 of our Woodridge seniors. We also extend our deepest appreciation and thanks to our team at the Village of Woodridge, who worked tirelessly, fielding phone calls, helping qualify seniors, getting them signed up, following up with everyone, and even meeting them on Sunday as they came in for their vaccines. High fives all the way around to everyone for what a wonderful event. Thank you all so much. Again, Woodridge strong and Woodridge proud. That is my report this evening. Administrator Stonich.
Thank you, Mayor Cunningham. The first item A is ordinance 2021-4. That's an ordinance amending the village code of the Village of Woodridge, Title 1, Chapter 5, Section 7. This is in reference to the assignment of mayor pro tem when the mayor is either unavailable or incapacitated to fulfill his or her role on a temporary basis.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to ask please for a motion to approve ordinance 2021-4, please.
So moved, trustee Blair.
Thank you, trustee Blair. And a second, please.
Second, trustee Hendricks.
Thank you, trustee Hendricks. Any discussion on this item, please? Okay, hearing no one, if I could please have our clerk call the roll.
Trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Hendricks,
Aye.
trustee Blair.
Aye.
Motion's approved.
Next, item B is resolution 2021-18. It's a resolution authorizing the purchase of 4 2021 Ford Utility Police Interceptor hybrid vehicles.
If I could please have a motion to approve resolution 2021-18.
So moved, trustee Krusek.
Thank you, trustee Krusek. And a second, please.
Second, trustee Blair.
Thank you, trustee Blair. Any discussion on this item? If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Hendricks,
Aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Motion's approved.
Last item tonight is item C. It's resolution 2021-19. It's a resolution proposing the reinstatement of water penalties and disconnections. Director Aletto is here, Mayor, to provide the board a brief presentation on this item.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I appreciate the time tonight to talk to you a little bit about the possibility of reinstating water penalties and shutoffs. Next slide, please. So you'll recall that back last March, immediately as our country was going into lockdown, that the village, among other emergency actions, suspended the water penalties and shutoffs. And then in July, as the country began to open up again, we resumed our normal operations. Then in the late fall, when we had a resurgence of COVID-19, and then the state implemented additional new restrictions in response to that, in November, the village suspended once again our late fees and water penalties. Next slide, please. So now that the state has returned once again to phase 4 of the governor's Restore Illinois program, which was the catalyst to reinstating our processes last July, that also with our region's COVID-19 tracking metrics that continue to improve. We have vaccinations that are underway. The village hall again is open to the public. And the majority of our neighbors, as you'll see in a moment, are resuming their operations as well. We also noticed an uptick in our delinquent receivables. And so all of those together, staff is bringing forth this item for discussion by the board tonight. And so as I just mentioned, next slide, thank you. The entire state is again in phase 4, and in order for that to happen, each region had to be at or below the threshold set by the state for various metrics. Woodridge is in region 8, and here is just 3 of our metrics, but it's a good representation, I think, of what we're seeing overall, and our metrics are continuing to improve. And so the first chart here, we've gone 11 consecutive days under an 8% threshold for our positivity results. And as you can see, it's a little small, but we're actually under 5% and declining. In the second, the middle chart here, it takes a look at our hospital bed availability, and we have had greater than 20% availability of our ICU beds for 11 consecutive days. And then also in our third chart here, we've seen 8 days of either declining or stable patients that are in our hospitals due to COVID. Next slide, please. And so we also recently polled our surrounding neighbors to see what their policy is. And you can see in this chart here that Darien and Downers Grove and Lisle, they've all resumed late fees and water shutoffs at this time. Westmont is currently assessing late fees, and they do expect to resume shutoffs in April. Plainfield's not currently doing either of them, but they do expect to resume normal operations sometime in the spring. And then Bolingbrook, which is serviced by Illinois American Water, they've resumed normal operations, except for they have extended their moratorium on water shutoffs through March 31st. For those customers that qualify for low-income home energy assistance, or if they've had income or been impacted by COVID-19 on their income due to the pandemic. So that's also the same approach that NICOR and ComEd, our larger utility companies, are taking at this time as well. The next slide, please. And here's a closer look at the village's receivables that we have right now and how they're increasing. So the first chart on your left here is January 2021 comparing to the same time in 2020. And on the right is February, which was last month, comparing this year to last year. And so when we compared January of this year to last year, we saw a 79% increase in the amount of outstanding receivables compared to January of 2020. And then when we looked again in February, we see an even greater increase, and we're now at 194% when we compare ourselves to February of last year. And so one thing that this might really be telling me that is in a normal year, which is it's January's right after the holidays, some of those balances that we see there could be from the holidays, right? Cash constraints, they don't pay, right? They're a little bit behind, but that by the end of February, the next month, your receivables would be reducing as people are getting caught up on their bills and making payments. However, if we look at 2021, we don't see this typical reduction happening. Rather, we actually see an increase. And so we're moving from 811 customers that were outstanding. And we're looking right now at anybody who is at least 30 days past due. So when we're looking at the column of 61 to 90 days, that's from the date of the bill. And so that first column there means that they're 30 days past due. The middle column is 60 days. And then the third column is at least 90 days past due. And so, as I was saying, we had 811 customers in January, and then that increased to 853 customers. In January, we had outstanding receivables of $85,000, and that has now increased to $108,000. And so then we also then took a look at those 853 accounts that we had outstanding at the end of February, and we wanted to see if they've made any payments on their account. And what we found was that since November, when we reinstated not shutting off and not doing late penalties, we found that 81% of these customers had not made any payment on their account since November. And that's really why we're seeing that these numbers are growing as opposed to declining. And while we've never stopped offering our payment plans to those that may have a need for them, right? They may have some financial issues. We don't currently have any active arrangements. And I really think that's just simply because right now, usually those are a function of when we're doing late penalties or water shutoffs. And so then that prompts customers to call us and ask for alternative arrangements to avoid disconnection or avoid penalties. And so without that there's really not been a need, I think, for customers to call us for that. And then also of those 853 accounts, Trustee Blair had a question earlier today, wanting to know if we could tell how many of those were late, or our regular customers, so to speak, regularly late and not new customers. And so what we found, we actually had looked at that as part of our review, and we found that about 65%, it was about 550 of those customers were what we would consider late on multiple occasions, and more of our regulars that have difficulty paying their bills on time. Next slide, please. And so I did want to just walk through the board in case they should vote tonight on reinstating the penalties and shutoffs. The resolution before you tonight, this is how we would go about resuming our normal operations. This actually mirrors the approach we took in July when the board resumed normal operations. We'd have our cycle, which would begin with our February billing. Our February billing just went out in the mail. We should be, north half of the village should be, if they haven't already, receiving those bills now. Those bills are due on March 18th, so middle of the month. Any outstanding balances on those bills would be assessed a late penalty. And then the residents and the businesses would have an additional 2 weeks to pay before anything else happened. Then at the end of March, disconnection notices would be mailed to any remaining accounts that still had past due balances. And shutoffs then would occur roughly 2 weeks after that, and that would be on April 14th. Those would only be for any accounts that had past due balances of over $150, and they had not made any attempt to talk to the village. And so obviously, as we have been, we've never stopped offering payment plans, but anybody communicating to us, to the village, that they need some assistance, we would offer a payment plan. We also offer, we have over 20 different agencies that we provide contact information to. Those include things such as Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, St. Scholastica, our townships, Downers Grove Walk-in Ministry. So we have this whole list. We offer them that information as well to help them. And so that would be the north side of town. And then this would continue also for the south side of town, same process, but just a month later. And so we would have bills that would go out in early April, with shutoff happening in mid-May. And then also, if the board approves it tonight, we'd immediately start notifications. We'd work through our e-news, the village's website, our monthly water bill brief, and then our March water bills, because these bills had already gone out. We will have regular communication going in the bills as a reminder that we've resumed our normal operations. And next slide, please. And this concludes my presentation, Mayor and Board. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Director Aletto, for the presentation and all the information. So I would like to ask, does any board member have any questions at this time?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, please, Trustee Page.
Director Aletto, of the 853, do you have the breakdown between how many are businesses versus how many are individuals?
You know, I don't have that in front of me. I'm sorry. I could get that for you, Trustee Page.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Anyone else, please?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, please, Trustee Martinez.
Director Aletto, sort of related to Trustee Page's question, but more specifically, you mentioned $150 as a threshold that you're going to be going after for shutting off or whatever. Do we know what percentage of the 850 are over $150?
I can find that out for you if you give me just a minute. So I don't have that percentage handy.
Or is it like 50%? Just don't have to be exact.
I'm going to, if you just give me one moment, I can pull up the spreadsheet and then I can let you know. Just one moment. Thank you. It looks to be 462.
About 50%,
Yes.
roughly. So what happens to those that are overdue, but that are under $150? What happened to that group?
They'll receive a late penalty as normal, but they would not be on the shut-off list. And so they would roll over until the next month's, in 2 months billing cycle. And so until they
Right.
meet that threshold, they would not be on our shut-off list.
And this is why I think this is related to trustee Page's question, because what percentage of those 450 that owe $150 or more are businesses versus residential?
Okay. That would take me a little bit longer.
No, I don't want you to give me an answer now, but that's how I relate back to what trustee Page asked.
Understood.
Director Leto, what is the late penalty?
10%.
10%. And it just keeps adding up. It's not like 10% one time and you're good. It's 10% every billing cycle.
Right, whatever your outstanding balance is at your billing cycle, unless you communicate to us, right? And so we will waive as a courtesy a one-time late penalty if you have it. Or if you have trouble or difficulty paying, you can call us and we will do a payment arrangement which stops all late fees then.
So.
Director Leto? Oh, sorry.
No,
Go
that's
ahead,
okay,
trustee
Mike, go
Blair.
ahead. Just to be clear, so out of all these 853, whether they're 150 in the rears or below, every one of them would have an opportunity to call and set up some sort of payment plan, and then the penalties stop once they have the payment plan set up.
That is correct.
So really all it takes is a phone call to stop the penalties and make an effort then to get caught up.
Right, and we can include that in our communication. We have been trying to be very accommodating given COVID, right? And working with them as long. Typically, we try to keep them within a couple months, depending on, it usually depends on the size of the bill, how long we'll go out. But when we resumed operations back in July, we allowed people to go as little as $20 a month to just continue to make payments. And so it depends on the situation, but we're willing to work with them. But yes, we just need them to communicate with us that they're having difficulty before that takes place, before we get the shut off.
And then the other, I just went, I had something I was going to ask you, but now it just left me. So when it comes back, I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Mike.
Director Leto, I think you said that 81% of the people that have not made a payment since November.
Yes.
Okay, and does that include where they have not called to even talk about it?
Right. We're getting we're actually, Trustee Krusek, not getting any phone calls on people that are not able to pay.
Okay, and so in the meantime, their balance just keeps getting bigger.
Correct. Right. Usually the catalyst is the fact that they're either subject to late fees or more often subject to disconnection.
Okay. And disconnection would also stop with calling you and saying, hey, I need to set up a payment plan.
Absolutely. They have until the morning, the day of, to call us. And so once that happens, we have to run processes first thing in the morning. And then that puts them on the shut off list. And so we won't physically, if they call us in the morning, we won't physically go shut off their water, but it does incur then a $60 administrative fee. So, and it's all noted in the notices that they receive. The disconnection notice tells them to please call us before that happens. And so, but once that does, then we have that $60 additional fee.
Okay, thank you.
Director
Remember-
Leto, is there a reconnection fee? Sorry.
No.
There is not. It's an administrative fee that we call it for $60. And that's because the Public Works has to go out and shut them off and turn them back on, and plus the extra administrative work that we need to do with their account.
If this is approved tonight, okay, because of the rolling billing, the north side of town and the south side, people would have at least a month notice that this is happening. And if you're in the south end of town, you would have 2 months. So we really would not be back to normal billing for the entire village until June if this is approved tonight. If it's not approved tonight, this could go to the end of the summer until we're back to normal billing, correct?
Well, this would, if you agree tonight, if you vote yes tonight, technically this billing cycle that we're in now this month would bring us back to normal billing cycle because we would assess penalties mid-month of this month. And then but we wouldn't have shut-offs until the middle of next month.
And it's just for the north side, the south side is a month later.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else, please? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Director Leto, for all the information. So we do have a resolution before us. So I'm going to ask, please, if there's no further discussion, we can move forward on the resolution. Any other questions from anyone? Comments? Okay. So if I could please have a motion to approve resolution 2021-19.
So moved.
Is that trustee Abbott?
Yes.
A second, please.
Second, trustee Hendricks.
Thank you, trustee Hendricks. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
No.
trustee Hendricks,
Aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Abbott.
Aye.
Motion's approved.
Thank you very much, everyone. With no further business to discuss this evening, I would like to, in just a moment, ask for a motion to adjourn. But first, to all of our neighbors, we thank everyone for following all the CDC guidelines. And we ask that you please continue to follow those guidelines. Stay safe, take good care, and please stay connected to the Village of Woodridge. And lastly, please remember all of our scouts throughout Woodridge and St. Scholastica's Troop 109. We think of Matthew Lewis, one of the scouts, Al Rakers, Joe Rauba, and Henry Peters, along with the Greg Hoffman family. Greg is their scout leader. But we think of all of our scouts throughout our community and all of those working on their Eagle Scouts as well. We are extremely proud and so thankful. So with that being said, to everyone, please have a good evening. As there is no further business to discuss, I'm going to ask for a motion, please, to adjourn this evening's meeting.
So move, trustee Page.
Thank you, trustee Page. And a second, please.
Second, trustee Martinez.
Thank you, trustee Martinez. The time is 7:32. We are adjourned. Please have a good evening, everyone, and take good care.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.